Fly me to the moon and let me swing among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Hi, Ukulele Mike here with our second jazz ukulele tutorial. Keep in mind that what we're doing right now with these lessons preliminarily is to just begin to develop our jazz chord vocabulary. Now, many of us are accustomed to playing all of the major chords and the minor chords and the sevenths and the some of the major sevenths, which in fact are jazz chords. But in this case, we're taking those chords to another level. And we're adding the ninths, the diminished chords, the 13th chords, even the 7th flatted 5th chords and the flatted 9th chords. So these are all a part of the jazz chord language. And it takes some time to get familiar with the chord names, but also with the chord structures and the feels of the chords, because we're accustomed to play a C and an F and a G7th, but not so accustomed to playing the minor sevenths or the diminished and the ninth chords. So in the first video and in this and some subsequent ones that I'm going to be doing, we're going to be working on developing our chord vocabulary. Now I'm just using Fly Me to the Moon as a little vehicle to kind of get us going on this. Once again, my mentors are Glenn Rose at jazzyukulele.com and Kimo Hussey, both of which they're both tremendous jazz ukulele players and great teachers. And Glenn's got a whole catalog of books that you can purchase that would explain this even further than I'm doing in these lessons. At any rate, so in Fly Me to the Moon, we have a little progression that starts with a G minor 7th, which just bar the first 2 strings at the 1st fret, and the middle finger goes on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then we go to C minor 7th, and keep in mind that many of these chords do involve barring, so we need to develop a good barring technique. So you just bar all 4 strings at the 3rd fret. That's your C minor 7th. Then we go to an F 9th. Sounds kind of like it as the C minor 7th, but what happens is this note gets dropped down 1, and we bring the middle finger in to do the barring. Believe it or not, that middle finger is holding down 3 strings. So once again, barring, but now with basically 2 fingers. Even though as you lay this across, it doesn't need to cover those 2. It will naturally anyway. So it looks like a double bar chord. So that's the F 9th. Now keep in mind that these are movable chords. So if the score calls for an F sharp 9th, where would we go? Up 1 fret. If it called for a G 9th, where we go? Up 1 fret. So once you learn one, you've learned a bunch of them. Bring down F 9th 1 fret, we have an E 9th. So if you come across an E 9th in a score, you can use that. Now, many times the 7th chords in a song can be substituted with a 9th to get the jazz sound. Keep that in mind. So we have G minor 7th, then we go to C minor 7th, as I said. Then we went to the F 9th. Then we go up here to the B flat major 7th. And here I'm barring the 3rd fret. And now we use the ring finger as a bar chord, bar finger. And I'm barring the first 3 strings at the 5th fret. There's your B flat major 7th. Now if you've ever played this chord, this is a G major 7th. First 3 the 2nd fret of the first 3 strings, all you're doing is just barring that up. And there's your B flat major 7th. Now, if you take your ring finger and slide it over and just put that on the 5th fret of the 1st string, isn't that pretty? That's an E flat major 7th. So you go from a B flat major 7th to an E flat major 7th. and then we go back to F ninth, and then we go to a E flat diminished. And by the way, the diminished chords, like many other chords, they have double names. They not only have double names within the diminished chord families, but that's also called a D7th flatted ninth. Not to confuse you as any more than you need to be. Fly me to the moon. Da 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 da. La da 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 da. And I would suggest, as you're practicing these chords, to do just as I now did. Don't put a rhythm with it. Just concentrate on the left hand. Because right now we're just trying to get acquainted with this new vocabulary, this new language of jazz chords. And then eventually you can start just taking a thumb stroke and do this. And there's basically the whole progression for the song. G minor 7th, C minor 7th, F 9th, B flat major 7th, E flat major 7th, back to F 9th, then E flat diminished, and G minor 7th. Now in the song Fly Me to the Moon, it's in 4/4 time. And you remember when I showed you that little intro that Chemo does for today? Well, you can do similar kinds of intros, and they're very what we call rubato. That means there's no rhythm or pulse to them. They're just a kind of a casual little laid-back feel that you can introduce the song with. And a good one for Fly Me to the Moon would be take that B flat major 7 and go. That's a diminished chord at the 4th fret. Then go down to C minor 7th. And then E flat diminished. And then fly me to the moon. So once again, I'll go through that. B flat major 7th. Go to a diminished at the 4th fret. Go to a C minor 7th. And then the E flat diminished, that's the one at the 2nd fret. And then you're set up for the G minor 7th. So once again, excuse me, do that again. Forgot the C minor 7th, C minor 7th, E flat diminished. Fly me to the moon. Da 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 da. Da 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 da, F 9th, E flat diminished, da da da, now G minor 7th, now go to G 7th, now C minor 7, F 9th, B flat major 7th, then go to a D minor 7th, which is at the 5th fret, then go to a G 9th, then back to C minor 7th. In other words, F 9th, B flat major 7th. I love you. And there you have it. Now you've learned some new jazz chords today, and like I say, don't necessarily put it together with the song, but just practice the chords by themselves. Just enjoy those sounds. Look at the chord, how it's fingered. Get a nice, clear, clean sound. Try to play mostly up on the fingerboard, not back down here. Up here you got a little mellower sound. By the way, one little technique that's really, really nice with these chords is to do a little finger picking. You can improvise on this like. And there you have it. Happy strumming, and continue to play your jazz chords every day. Fly me to the moon,
and let me swing among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me.